Hey, it's David from B2B, and what I want to talk about is the two most common growth marketing mistakes that I see businesses who are making annual revenue of between 10 and 100 million, so kind of larger companies from my perspective. And the context is that they've often grown organically from word of mouth, referrals, and partnerships. And it tends to be kind of a sales-led organization is how I would describe it. So they've seen the value over the years of having business development managers and relationship managers in their team. So they're looking to go to the next level. They know that they probably need marketing in order to do that. And so what they've often done is they've hired a marketing function. So you might have hired 3 or 4 or 5 marketing people, or you might have hired an agency. And basically it's not working at all. And it's a really frustrating situation because you've kind of got leadership over here who are setting big goals for marketing. So, maybe they have particular MQL targets or something like that because they want to feed their sales team. And then the marketing team are doing their best. Like they're sort of doing all of the marketing playbooks and there's a lot of activity going on, but they're falling short with those targets. I mean, fundamentally, the reason this happens is that you can't just take an established business and kind of sellotape on a marketing function. Like that's really not going to work. It's a bit more nuanced than that. So these are the two big mistakes that I see people making. And then I'll give you some suggestions of what I would do if I was coming in as a chief marketing or chief growth officer to these businesses. So the most common one I see is that all of the marketing channels are operating in silos. So often what's happening is we're doing a lot of activity. We're doing lots of things, but it's all piecemeal and it doesn't tie together. So it doesn't feed the other channels. So for example, we're running Google ads over here and we're doing SEO to get traffic to our website, but then we're not retargeting that traffic in any way. So we're not running retargeting ads on LinkedIn, or we're creating blog content, but that just sits on our blog and it doesn't get repurposed on other channels. Or we might be hosting a bunch of webinars and we're not reusing the content that we're capturing throughout the webinar, and we're not nurturing the attendees who came, and we're not, they see us once at the webinar and then they forget about us basically. So in most cases, the advice here is do less things, i.e. pick 1 or 2 channels that you really want to focus on. Generally speaking, Google and LinkedIn are a great choice. And make sure we're doing those really well and that they're joined up together. So if we're doing SEO and Google ads, a really easy piece of low-hanging fruit is to retarget those people on LinkedIn. You can do that for a relatively low-cost ad spend. If we're already creating webinars, how can we use those webinars to create content for LinkedIn, to create blog content, to even put it on YouTube or elsewhere if we want to? So often there's a couple of little moves we can make strategically to get loads more efficiency out of our system. And that's just a couple of ideas that I've thrown out off the top of my head. So that's the first thing, is rather than operating in silos with all of your different marketing channels, pull everything together into one big funnel. And that's how you need to think about it. The second thing is that all of these businesses have a pure focus. So all of their time, energy, resources, all of their marketing budget is being spent on trying to generate leads. So trying to generate MQLs, and they're not spending any money on building brand or building demand. So for example, they're running Google ads to an unlinked landing page where there's no primary navigation, so you can't see the rest of their website. And so basically what happens there is like either the person is going to convert or they're going to forget about you. And so there's no systematic approach to retargeting that person. And I've got news for you, B2B buyers don't really buy like that. But that's sort of a whole nother story. So it's like a Google ad to an unlinked landing page, which is not connected to the rest of your website. Or it's an ad on LinkedIn where the first touch point with someone is that you ask them to download a PDF white paper. And like, as a side note, oh my gosh, can people stop doing that? It's just a disaster. I don't know anyone who in the last 12 months has downloaded a PDF white paper and then bought something afterwards. So if we don't do that ourselves, let's not expect our prospect to do that either. Hey, and so sorry, that was a real tangent. I'm getting on my soapbox here, but the point is, it's all of our energy and effort is focused on generating leads. That's not necessarily a bad thing to try and generate leads. But what I would say is we should be spending at least 50%, if not 80% of our time, energy, and resources on building brand and building demand so that when people are ready to buy, they come to us. Because B2B buyers are not really impulse purchasing high ticket products or services. And so the key is not how do I get someone to buy from me? The key is how do I be the go-to person they think of when they are ready to buy? It's a big change in philosophy, but it does have a big impact. And I think this is where these businesses struggle, is that the leadership team are trying to generate more leads, and they're pushing the marketing team to generate leads. And really, we just need a bit of a philosophical change to say, okay, let's stop thinking about generating leads. Let's think about how do we generate the most revenue we can? And then how do we look at the system as a whole and look at it as one big end-to-end machine, which is designed to build pipeline for our organization and then convert that pipeline into revenue. And when you look at it that way, you can kind of see all the different pieces that go together. So the great news is that with a few tweaks, these businesses can see really amazing results. They're obviously great at what they do. They're obviously awesome at delivering the service that they're delivering or the product that they're delivering. And if you can tack on a great marketing engine to these companies, then they have almost unlimited potential. And so from our perspective as a growth partner, these are great potential clients for us, because if we can figure out the marketing piece, we can scale them up, very quickly, and they can see a great result from the activities we're doing. So I hope that was a useful video, a bit of a rant, and looking forward to seeing you in the next one. I hope you have a great day.